Biaggio Ali Walsh.
What's up, MMA fans? I'm Ramon Sefo, and I'm here with Biaggio Ali Walsh. How you doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Did you do training today? What was?
No, Saturday, Sunday are my 2 days off. I take advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
What is it like to live as a young professional mixed martial artist, and what's the hardest part of your day?
It's a young, up-and-coming MMA fighter. You know, every day is pretty grueling training, but I love it. So it's good. Anytime I get to recover, I take full advantage of it. You know, I take Saturday and Sunday to just fully rest so that I can be ready for the next week. But it's good. I love it.
Good. What's it like growing up with your grandfather being Muhammad Ali, and how's that affected you?
It's been like a weird thing my whole life. Growing up, it was always like a secret. I never would tell anybody. And then, like, some kids would find out, and then they start treating me a little different. And so we kept it a secret our whole life. And yeah, it's actually great. You know, you don't really realize the kind of person he was or the kind of icon, how big of an icon he was until I got older. But I always looked at him as just Poppy. A lot of great memories. I did a school project on him in like 3rd grade, and nobody knew that was my grandpa. Yeah, it was. There were some pros and some cons. I think the cons were only just some people would treat me different if they found out, or like some kids' parents would be nicer.
Yeah.
Just when they found out. So. But for the most part, like, it was a total secret.
Definitely. I think that's kind of like with me and my dad. I never seen him as a professional fighter. I just seen him as my dad.
Exactly.
That's how I grew up. It's just normal. But then as I got older, it was weird to have people come up to him.
Yeah, you start watching YouTube videos. You start seeing all these things. You're like, oh, wow, Dad is bigger than I thought and more known than I thought. And yeah, it's like a weird feeling, so I'm sure you can understand a little bit.
Yeah. You had a strong start in the PFL with several knockouts. What is the key to your success in the cage?
I think, for me, I think one thing I like to use is pressure. You know, the PFL stage is a big stage. You know, fighting Muhammad Ali's grandson is a big name. And people, you know, they want to beat an Ali. So I try to take all that pressure and put it on my opponent and stay in their face and make them kind of really nervous.
Yeah.
So I think that has a lot to do with my success. You know, I didn't grow up boxing. I didn't grow up doing any combat sports. I only played football. But I think naturally I like to stand and bang. So I think one of the big parts of my success is just putting that relentless pressure on my opponent.
Right. What was it like walking out to the cage for the first time?
Ooh, for the first time? Like first amateur fight?
First amateur fight.
Yeah, first amateur fight, it felt like an outer body experience. I barely remember any of it, if I'm gonna be honest. My first fight was in Billings, Montana, and I fought at 170. So the guy I fought was like just some big, roided out, bald guy. And I like dropped him twice, and the dude got up, and I heard the Terminator music going on in my head. I'm like, what's going on right now? But my first fight ever was a outer body experience. It was a great experience too, because I had lost that fight. So I came back and started winning after that. But yeah, that first fight it's a different feeling.
Yeah, and to go on to one of the other questions, or like to expand on your response, did you always know you wanted to be a fighter in high school?
Never.
Really?
No, I would have never guessed I'd ever be here. Like, not in a million years. Like, if someone would have told me back then that I'd be a fighter and I'd be with the PFL or, you know, I'd just be a professional MMA fighter, I would be like, wow, what?
Right.
Because I was focused on football for a lot of time in my life. And yeah, I never thought about fighting. Really what got me into it was when I was done with football, I didn't really know what to do with my life. I was looking for jobs. I worked at Adidas. I was driving for like a real estate company. Yeah, I didn't know what to do with my life, and I started training here at Extreme Couture just to stay in shape, because I wasn't playing football anymore, so there was nothing
To keep you active.
yeah, to keep me active and in shape. So I was coming here just to learn martial arts because I'd always been a fight fan. But then I started like falling in love with it slowly, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I get one amateur fight. And then the one turned to two, the turn turned to four, and now I have a whole career. But
now you're a professional.
yeah, now I'm a professional. So that's pretty much how I got into MMA, but I would have never guessed.
Really? That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
One day you're playing football, next day you're banging it out with the dude in the cage.
Yeah, I never would have thought.
Crazy.
But God's plan is perfect, and
Definitely.
that's what was written for me to do. So,
All right. When you go into like picture this, you go into a convenience store. What is like the first items you grabbing in the convenience store?
you know those like Loft House sugar cookies?
Yes.
Yeah,
Those are pretty good.
I'm gonna get those. Those are the first, because that like the pastries in some grocery stores like Smith's or Vons, the pastries is like the first one you see. So I go to the Loft House cookies.
Me personally, I'm more of like a fruit tart type of dude. I like those a lot.
Yep.
And then if I'm going to like a gas station or something, I'll get coconut water. I get like 2 beverages.
Yeah.
I get coconut water.
Yep.
And it just depends on the day. Maybe like an Arizona or like a grape crush. But and then I've been trying to cut down on the sugar just because being an athlete, you can't eat certain stuff.
But you're growing, so whatever you're doing's right. But yeah, if I go into 7-Eleven, probably like a water or like a protein shake.
And what do
Maybe a
you
Reese's.
what do you eat during weight cuts?
I try to, like you said, cut sugars a little bit. I'll eat like a lot of protein after practice and some carbs before practice, because the carbs will give me that fuel to get through it. I try to stick to that, and it's a calorie deficient, so I'm burning more calories than I am eating, and that naturally you'll lose weight. So
yeah, I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to eat more calories than I'm burning, so I gain weight. But, what is your go-to fragrance when you're going on a date night?
Creed.
Creed?
Yeah.
I like Creed.
Creed. Man, like not a couple years ago, but a while ago, a family friend came over, and he was wearing Creed Aventus, and me and my brother were like, what is that?
What is
like,
that?
What is that? He's like, Creed Aventus. Since then, I'm like, I only wear Creed.
Is that the black bottle or what bottle?
It's a clear bottle, but I got the Royal Oud, which smells really good, and then I got Green Irish Tweed, which is the black bottle that you're talking about. I have that right now.
Do you think you could beat 50 10-year-olds in a fight?
50 10-year-olds?
Yeah, that's like 2 football teams with just 10-year-olds.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
50?
That's a lot, though.
They're clawing at me, and like if I'm trying to knock out 2, I have 48 more to go.
Yeah, that's true. That's like
numbers matter. Like that goes back to the gorilla question. Like,
yeah, what do you think about that?
I got 100 men.
Really?
Yeah.
I think just put maybe 3 Brock Lesnar type of dudes in the front.
Yeah.
You go behind him, just kick him in the balls.
You gotta strategize, but like numbers do matter.
Yeah, definitely. My dad said he could beat 50 10-year-olds. I'm like, all right.
50, yeah.
That's a lot of kids.
Well, your dad's your dad. Like, he might head kick 2 of them, and then I don't know.
I feel like he would get tired because, especially 10-year-olds, they have a lot of energy.
Yeah, they do.
Start biting and scratching. Yeah, no, I'm
biting,
cool
scratching, clawing. You got eyes to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, it
start piling up on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
My
cool
friend said 100 4th graders he'd beat. I'm like, no, you're not.
That's a lot of them.
Yeah.
By maybe 25, you'd be tired, and you still got 75 more to go.
I'm like 5, you'd be tired. Come on. And he doesn't train or anything. So I'm like, bro, come
beat
on.
the shit out of him.
Let's be honest.
Do you like horror movies?
I love horror movies.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Of all time?
Of all time. Or you can name a couple.
My favorite horror movie, probably The Shining.
The Shining.
Yeah,
That's a good
The
one.
Shining. Or the original Halloween, the first one.
Halloween is good.
Yeah, when I was a kid, like, Michael Myers, like, he was the only one that really, like, freaked me out because I loved Chucky. Like, Chucky was my guy. But Mike, when I was a kid, like, he just would stand there and not talk. And then, like, the camera would go back to him and he's gone.
Yeah,
it's kind of like you see a spider in your bed and then you look back
away,
and it's gone.
Yeah. Oh,
I would get that feeling. So, like, yeah, I would say those two are my two favorite.
I think my favorite, I was going on Netflix trying to look for some horror movie, and I seen this movie, it's called The Ritual.
The Ritual?
It's like these dudes go camping and there's like this monster in the woods and these people worship them. It's a whole...
Oh, God.
It's like a
That
Wendigo.
sounds good,
Yeah.
though.
It's a really good movie. You should check it out.
Okay, The Ritual. The Ritual.
I have a funny question for you. How many weeks do you stop having sex before a fight?
I think that's a myth.
Really? Because I think your grandfather did like, what, 9 weeks?
He would stop. But I think that's a myth.
You think so? Really?
Yeah.
So my dad would do what your grandfather did. He would do the 9 weeks, and why do you think it's a myth?
Because I've masturbated the night before a fight and went and knocked some guy out. So I think it's a myth. To be completely honest. I've wanted to try that too. Like my brother, he's a professional boxer. He stops 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah. If it's written for me to win, I'm going to win.
That's true. And for our final question, where do you see yourself 5 years from now, and what is your ultimate goal?
5 years from now, hopefully I have a solid MMA record and I'm making good enough money and I could help people in any way that I can, And my ultimate goal really is to provide for my family. Let's be real. I want to... A lot of fighters, I feel like they... Like the why, right? Like, why do you fight? There's, like, legacy. There's many different reasons, but I just fight for money, honestly. I want to fight so that when I have a family, I'm able to provide for them and treat them and help them pay for school and everything like that. So, hopefully in the 5 years, I have enough money to be able to provide, enough money to be able to help people, help small communities, nonprofits, maybe even start my own. So, yeah. At the end of the day, when it comes to fighting, I only want to fight for to entertain the people. People like entertainment. So, win, lose, or draw, I just hope that in 5 years I'm successful.
Definitely. I think that's everybody goal in life, just to be able to provide for your family. Yeah. It's everything.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I fight, really.
Thank you, MMA fans, for tuning into another episode of Liv MMA. I just want to give a big thank you to the fans.
Shout out Liv MMA. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Please like, share, and subscribe to Liv MMA, and click the bell icon to be notified whenever we post new videos.